Good, hey guys. So, the trying something different this time. The I'm not in my apartment, so it's only should explain that or this, but just that they're gonna be spending the has some more time that in the book that today. It's done. Okay. That well, that if you hear anything, that's the dog. The okay. So what do we do after we become consistent with our his own small goals and realistic methods? We repeat the process. Once your new realistic goal has been achieved and has solidified as a behavior of yours, have the honest conversation with yourself again. Make another small, challenging, but realistic goal. You rinse and repeat. These small but permanent changes equate to huge changes over time. I have seen dramatic transformations with this method, and the best part is that most of them were permanent. Raw fitness truth in the upper X. You do have time to walk out. The most common excuse I thought for not walking out is I don't have time. 9 out of 10 times people blame lack of time. We are all busy. Sometimes they're too busy to get in some more hard exercise. Our body needs the daily to stay fit. Whenever someone told me that they didn't have time, I would go into my motivational spiel in which I asked them to list the life priorities on a piece of paper. Inevitably, they acknowledge that health was the number one concern. After all, without good health, you can't walk. You can't walk, take care of your kids, or live life in the way you truly want to. How do you do? What do you do, Owen? Yeah. Okay. Back then, my solution to the time excuse was to motivate and inspire people to instantly prioritize their health by taking hours out of their week to drive to the gym and work out. This approach worked great in the short term. Most people did get motivated and inspired, and they did get results at first. The problem was that eventually they stopped their consistent workouts and became a part of a statistic that shows that most people who start a fitness program eventually stop. I had to be honest with myself. I wasn't really helping anyone. It was at this point that I realized I had to meet people where they are. Many people do have crazy schedules, and they are slammed with responsibilities. When you factor in family time, work, household duties, and more, it can be very daunting to go from not going to the gym to dedicating 4 to 5 hours a week to exercise. time it takes driving to and from, plus time in the gym or walking out. I needed to come up with a solution. I had to design workouts that were extremely convenient. They needed to be effective with minimal time. So that's what I did. I went on to create workouts that took a grand total of 90 minutes per week. These workouts were targeted at 2 types of busy people. The type who wants to work out only a few days a week, and others, and the other who wants and the other who wants to work out a little bit most days. They had the option of doing 3 30-minute workouts or 6 15-minute workouts a week. This total time even included mobility walk to prevent injury. And to encourage better body mechanics. As it turned out, the workouts did their job with diet. They increased muscle mass, burned fat, and increased metabolism. They were also very effective at building consistency, which led to helping clients eventually progress to spending more time working out and maybe even joining a gym. And of course, they proved to be very successful in helping stay-at-home parents. Business travelers and other busy people get in shape over the short and long term. The truth is, you can get great fitness results with as little as a grand total of 60 minutes a week of dedicated workout time. In fact, that amount of exercise may even add years to your life. According to a study in the journal Medicine and Science in Sports and Exercise, the burning only 1,000 calories a week through exercise reduced the risk of dying prematurely. The study emphasized that some activity is better than none, but none is but more is also better than some. The key is also to make the workout as effective as possible, not as hard as possible. The workouts you're about to learn are based on these principles. They're time efficient, they get results, and they can be done in the convenience of your home. I can't versus I don't want to. I can't eat that, or I have to walk out. These are very common phrases people say when they are trying to get in shape or improve their fitness. and I've heard them all the time. That I've even uttered them myself, especially after someone would ask me whether I wanted to indulge in the food. Indulge in the food that I knew that was counter to my fitness goals. That was before I smartened up a bit as a personal trainer. The first half of my career, I learned all about proteins, fats, and carbs. I understood all about calories in versus calories out. I could recite information on biomechanics and exercise technique. I obsessed over these things and became somewhat of an expert. Yet, had I been truly honest with myself, I wasn't really helping the majority of my clients. Any clients back then would see some success with me, and then would waver, plateau, and stay stuck. If any of them stopped training with me, then it was just a matter of time before they got right back to where they were before they met me. It was incredibly frustrating for me because I really wanted to see my clients achieve permanent, long-lasting success. The second half of my career, the solution got under my skin so badly that I became entirely frustrated with fitness. Why why couldn't I help these people? What, are they just lazy? This is when I decided to dig much deeper. I started to focus on the why, the instead of the how. I already knew how people could get themselves in shape. Okay. I started to focus on the why and the instead of the how. I already knew how people could get themselves in shape. In other words, I knew the process and the steps. But what eluded me was why they just didn't follow them. What could I do as a trainer to get people to make long-lasting changes? What were the blocks that stopped people from achieving goals they sincerely wanted to achieve? One day, we were at a family function that it came to me that I saw that I had a piece of cake, and my cousin yelled at me from across the room. My family knew I ate a very regimented diet, but they always tried to convince me to go off the rails. No, oh thanks, man. I can't eat that. The what is my reply? Then he came back with the typical. Oh come on, man! It's just one piece. You will still be fed and lean tomorrow. He kept us hissing until I finally told my cousin that I don't want on the cake. This response will work like magic, and he left me alone. That's interesting, that I thought. When I said that I couldn't have the cake, here was a debate. But when I said I didn't want the cake, he left me alone. Why did changing my phrase work so well. Then the more important question came to me. Why do I always say I can't eat something? Of course, I can eat something unless someone is forcing me. Do you really mean it? I thought. I am forcing myself. Boom. Everything became clear. Whenever we decide something is important, we make a plan to follow through. If the plan is especially challenging, we we literally create two identities within ourselves. The first identity is the person who needs to lose weight or get in shape and so forth. The other identity is the dictator who forces us to follow through with the plan. The dictator can be quite effective in the short term, as long as we force ourselves to do things we feel we don't want to do, but disastrous in the long term, because no one wants to be oppressed for the rest of their lives. Think about it. How many times have you done this to yourself? One of you forces the other two to obey. This works until the side of you that you identify with finally can't take any more oppression, and you rebel. You're strict until you decide, screwed with this, and you go off the rails or fall off the wagon. And it's usually in a very big way. It's not just one small bite of cake. It's two whole pieces. It's not one or two missed workouts. It's quitting for months or years. This behavior is largely due to perception. Perceive it as tyranny, and you will eventually rebel. Perceive it as something you choose to do and want to do, and there is nothing to rebel against. Personally, I never had an issue with diet and exercise, but I did have a major problem with household chores. I hated them. I was raised in a very old school, stereotypical Sicilian family, in which my mom did everything in the house. I rarely made a bed or washed a dish growing up. In fact, the few times I did do things around the house. It was because I was being punished. So as an adult, I identified doing house chores as a punishment. Similar to how people view eating healthy and exercising. I couldn't stand doing them, and as a result, I contributed very little in this regard. Once I realized that I wasn't being forced, rather, I actually wanted to do these things. I, I liked a clean, organized house. I changed how I perceive things. I realized that I only felt forced because there was a second version of myself, a dictator, who would tyrannize me to do things around the house. With this realization, I eliminated that version of myself who lived in my mind, and simply realized that I wanted to do these things. Instantly, they became they became less arduous, and in fact became meditative at times. I started teaching this concept to my clients, and their results dramatically improved. The best part was that they started experiencing far less stress and anguish over working out and eating right. Once they realized that they actually wanted to exercise and eat right, the rest was easy. Do away with the other tyrannical version of yourself. Stop forcing yourself with "I can't." When you say no to a particular food, it is because you don't want it. So you like how it tastes, and you might enjoy it momentarily, but you don't want to trade that for how it will make you feel or how it will impact your health. When you walk out, it's not because you have to. Rather, it's because you want to. So, it will hurt a bit and it is challenging, but it's worth all the benefits you want to happen in your body and health. The same is true when you decide you do want to skip a workout day, or if you actually do want to eat that piece of cake or other food. On those occasions, you will realize that it's not that you are going off the wagon or that you are rebelling. Rather, you don't mind the trade off at that moment and you truly want to. This simple understanding reframes what actually this simple understanding reframes what actually drives you to make fitness and health decisions, and it eliminates the stress, failure, and self-blame that that accompanies them. self-love versus self-hate. I always wanted my clients to exceed, while always trying to understand why some lapsed. Yes, it had to do with the issues I have discussed, or but it also had to do with how they felt about themselves. Many of those who lapsed that all good. So that's everything for that today, and so to the net that next time.